Hi there, and welcome to the Gerry Anderson channel. I'm Ross Arrowsmith, and today we're embarking on a very special video project. Over the coming weeks, we'll be telling the story of Gerry Anderson's career, with archive interviews from not just the man himself, but both the cast and crew he worked with along the way. In order to get the full picture, we'll start at the beginning with his early life, told best in his own words.
Well, it's very simple actually to tell you. I was born in Kilburn. I was in a house, an old house, living right at the top in one room with my family. The kitchen was in the corner of the room with a blanket drawn across to separate it out from the room. Down below we had a woman by the name of Mrs. Harper, a very old lady who used to bang on the ceiling with her stick when we were making a lot of noise. Opposite, we had a man, I can't remember his name now, but he was just fresh out of jail. And on the bottom floor, we had a mad artist and a prostitute. So, it's really quite a good background. My parents were always fighting. I mean, not literally fighting, but arguing. They were really supremely unmatched. They should never have been married in the first place, but they were how they were. And I guess, throughout my childhood, I was confronted with these continuous arguments until when I was, I think I was about 14, my mother and I left home. I guess I was a mother's boy, she left him and I went with her. I really had no toys. I mean, it was almost time for the violins to start playing, but I had no toys. I had no friends. I mean, no local friends. And so I spent most of my time at home with my parents. On the odd occasion, I went to the cinema, and that was because we could only afford to go on the odd occasion. I remember once going to the Government State at Kilburn, which at the time had just opened, was the largest cinema in Europe. And I saw a Shelley Temple film and a B picture and the news and the March of Time and Teddy Joyce and his orchestra on a revolving stage. And that cost sixpence for a show that ran 4.5 hours. A thing I do remember is that, and I'm almost ashamed to say this, that of course at that time, when one went to the cinema, you just went. You didn't wait for the beginning of the film. You just walked in any time. Hence, the old saying, "This is where we came in." You suddenly remember, "Oh yeah, I saw that." When we first came in. I remember sitting in cinemas and thinking, "I hope this is going to be a good film." And if I saw the 20th Century Fox trademark or the MGM Lion, I remember thinking, "Oh, this is going to be good." Well, of course, that wasn't true, but that's what it appeared to me at the time.
Despite Gerry's early interest in seeing films, his education was somewhat checkered.
I had virtually zero education because of the war, and because also my parents, didn't really know how to encourage me. And I went to a secondary school. The reason was that there were very few kids left in London. They were all evacuated. And I made a terrible mess of my exam paper, but I passed, which really meant they had so many spare places. Anybody who filled in a form went to the secondary school. I didn't like that, and eventually I decided I would go to a building school because I wanted to become an architect. So I went to the Willesden Polytechnic, and there they had different shops, for bricklaying, plumbing, carpentry, painting, and plastering. When I say plastering, this was ornamental plastering, not plastering walls. And I really excelled, and I was top of the class. And so, obviously, I was going to become a plasterer. And who uses plasterers? And the answer is film studios. And so I was set to become a studio plasterer. But the plaster caused, thank heavens, dermatitis on my arms and stripped both my arms of skin. It was really horrible. And the doctor said, well, look, it's obviously the lime and the plaster that's causing this. and there's no way that you can become a plasterer. Well, I'd already set my heart on studios, film business. I really knew nothing about it. And I spent a very, very long time walking around from studio to studio saying to the gateman, are there any jobs going? The answer was no.
Join us next week for the next part of the Gerry Anderson story, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.